Carol has stopped talking. We're seated in the cafe, staring at each other. When she finally drops her head and I look down, I see my hands are clenched like fists. So is every muscle in my body. But your parents, how could they have let this happen? My parents, they didn't know. They didn't know, you see, my parents were asleep. It was easy for those things to happen. All the servants, local bureaucrats seeking favors, the bribes, children left at home in good care while the parents hobnobbed with the rich and famous at important cocktail parties. And a few special children. They're taken to parties that are not parties for children at all. It was easy if your parents were asleep. The writer in me leaps to the end of this story for some measure of justice. And I can picture Carol. She's standing in front of that fat, sweaty man, and she's accusing him, confronting him, when Carol's voice pulls me back to the cafe. The fat, sweaty man. I find him. Yes. And I find nothing. Nothing. You see, he's dead. He's been dead since 1986. And there is nothing he can ever give me back. My childhood, my innocence, my heart, my feelings, nothing. Something inside me dies. It dies all over again. And I fall back. I fall back right into myself. And I'm running. Then I'm flying. Then I am in this woman's arms. A woman who holds and protects me, and I know that I am home. How can I explain what has happened to me? Because it is more powerful than any dream. When that fat, sweaty man, and there were other men who were with him, when they hurt me, when they touched me, when they rubbed their bodies against me, I would send myself. It was my soul. I sent it here between my two hands, and then I left my body. I flew. I flew across dark, raging waters and into the arms of a woman who held me, who whispered to me, "We will not let evil in. We will not let evil in." She is the one I'm looking for. It's not that man. Hers. It is a truth I will give to my own daughter Tess, who lives with me now, so that when Tess is older, when she becomes angry about the time in which I left her, perhaps she will forgive me, and she will know her mother is really here. I am not asleep. You must find that woman in your dream. Find her. Don't be afraid. If the box that held my secrets had not cracked open, I would still be asleep. Instead, I am slowly learning how to grow my heart. Carol leaves the cafe just as suddenly as she appeared. I race to my studio. I record everything that she's told me as best I can remember it. Then it begins. It's an unsettling feeling in the pit of my stomach. What am I supposed to do with this story? Whose story is it? What am I supposed to do with it? That night, I have a second dream. In the dream, I hear someone calling my name, and I think, I must open the box. I find the box. Without a moment's hesitation, I lift the lid. Suddenly, I am in an ancient garden. It is surrounded by high stone walls that are crumbling. Everything is colored in warm tones of brown and gold, even the sky. Giant roots of trees are climbing over the wall into the garden. I see a small Asian woman, black hair, shoulder length. She's walking across the garden. She has a package, and she places the package on a table, then disappears. I walk to the table and see a cloth-covered book. So I take the book. Then I begin climbing the tree. It's toward an opening that I see high in the wall above me, but as I climb, brambles are growing beneath me, and the garden disappears. At the opening is a single red rose. I take the rose and I leave. I waken from this dream, get dressed, and go directly to my studio. That morning, I'm seated at my desk, I'm writing, when there's a knock at the door. It's the woman in the garden in a blue silk blouse. Her hair and face, everything is the same. My friend Carol told me about your dream and the play that you are writing. She asked me to consider giving this to you. I have considered it. She hands me a large envelope, then turns and leaves, closing the door behind her. I open the envelope. It's a manuscript.
The Vanished Kingdom, recounted by Tavet. Part 1. Life in the Kingdom.
As a child, I lived in a house with many rooms and servants who took care of me and my family. I had a special wish. I wanted to be like my father, who was very handsome. Whenever he talked, everyone listened. He didn't talk much. He listened. My father said, listening, it is very important. It is the only way you get to understand people. When I am old, I will act just like my father. You see, I hated being a girl. I was not like my mother, who was very beautiful, who never got angry toward anyone. I got angry. I was stubborn. Just to prove I was as good as my two brothers, I did very well in school, the Catholic convent boarding schools where they sent me. When I would come home from boarding school in France, my mother would always say, remember, Wherever you go, you always represent Cambodian women and your country. I promised myself, I will not be like other Cambodian women.
We have selected your husband. He is one of the best educated men in our country. There will be no discussion.
This man that they selected is short and old. He's 36. I'm 17. I will not marry this man. So I take 2 vials of Valium. My parents, they're disgraced by my behavior, but they send me to Paris and they call the marriage off. With Paris as my home, I fall in love. He's an officer in the Royal Cambodian Air Force. When we're 23, I marry. I have 3 children. But my husband, he has indiscretions with other women many times. So first I warn him, then I divorce him. I am the first woman in the family to have a divorce. 2 years later, I marry my second husband. Everyone is shocked. Our backgrounds are so different. But we don't care. And besides, my husband, he loves my 3 children. So now, it is 1969, I'm 30 years old. We live in Cambodia's capital, Phnom Penh. I have started an import-export business with my friend. It's great fun. We are succeeding. I'm the first woman in the family to have a business. And then, it is on January 30th, 1970. My youngest son, Chico, he is born. Chico, you are everyone's child. How can I say this without telling you more than I wish to tell you about myself? My life in the kingdom of Cambodia, it is full, it is rich, it is blessed. I have good relations with my parents and friends. I'm an independent woman. I have traveled everywhere in the world. Still, no place is as beautiful as Cambodia. A small, quiet beaches, mountain temples with Buddhist monks, fast-flowing rivers, lakes, they're full of fishes. There is peace here, where we sit and drink the fresh air.
Part 2. The Kingdom Falls.
March 18, 1970, the royal family of Cambodia has been overthrown. There is fierce fighting by the Revolutionary Army to take over the country.
Panic. There are tanks, there are soldiers everywhere. Bombs are coming closer and closer. I have sent my 3 eldest children to France. My husband, my youngest son, and I, we will remain at our main home in the capital of Phnom Penh. But parties, weekends, vacations, they evaporate. I am volunteering in the hospitals, the refugee camps instead. And for the first time in my life, I see human pain, suffering. But the suffering, it is not me. I never think, never, that I could be sucked into the suffering world myself.
For 4 years, the war for power has continued between the New Republic and the Khmer Rouge Revolutionary Army. Yesterday, there was a sudden escalation of fighting.
I have tried to persuade my parents to leave, but they refuse, no matter what I say. And my brothers will not leave without my parents. My sisters refuse to leave with their families. So my husband, my son, and I, we have decided we will go to France without them. We will live there until this war is over.
April 15th, 12:30 p.m.
We are en route to the airport. Troops are everywhere. Khmer Rouge troops. The airport is closed. We cannot get through. The last flight left at 6 a.m. The Khmer Rouge have taken over.
We, the Khmer people of the Republic of Cambodia, have control over Cambodia. We have destroyed our enemies, the capitalists, the royalists,
It
the
is
bourgeois,
us,
the army,
my
all the
husband,
traitors.
my son and I, my parents, my brothers, sisters, and their families. It is us they want to destroy.
April 18th, 5 a.m.
A machine gun firing at the house. Footsteps running. It is my husband. We have 10 minutes to leave. If we don't, they will kill us. Our cook helps me with my 5-year-old son. My husband gathers money, jewelry, a few belongings, 2 kettles of water and food. We pack them into the car and leave the house in 3 cars. There are soldiers everywhere watching us. They are young soldiers, 15, 16 years old, and they are armed with grenades and machine guns, pistols, pointed at us. We fall into a slow-moving mass of cars, bicycles, people being forced to leave the city, but going where? Wounded people around the streets. There are dead bodies. Soldiers in uniforms, decapitated, heads are on sticks. People are being shot. Do not look, my husband says. But I look. I will see their faces when they kill me. We sleep in the car that night. The next morning, my husband, he opens the car door with water for my son and I to wash our face, to brush our teeth. No coffee. Sorry. He's trying to make me smile. I never begin the day without coffee. By late afternoon, we have been forced into a temple compound along the Mekong River. My brothers find an empty hut, a clearer space for us. By the next day, thousands and thousands of people, they are pouring into this compound. Soldiers, they are everywhere watching. We are dogs in a pen. The only food we have, it is what we brought with us. The next day, in the mass of people, I find my parents. My father, he will not join us. Too dangerous, he says. He sends my mother to our hut, and she sits in a corner, reading her Buddhist Bible, speaking to no one. The next day, the soldiers come and they take my father.
Anka needs your father.
He lives with them, quietly. 2 days later, 4 soldiers come again, this time for my youngest brother.
Anka needs your brother.
Then it is my older brother that they take. And that is when my mother speaks. Her only words. Are they gone? Yes, they are gone. And we weep. Our mother and her daughter weep. My mother is 70 years old. In a few short weeks, she has lost her husband, 2 sons, every material possession, and she sits in a hut surrounded by people dead and dying. The air, it is foul with the stench of rotting flesh, excrement, and blood. She reads her Buddhist Bible. We are born alone. without anything. We die alone, without anything, the Buddha says.
Go far from this compound. Leave the car. It is very dangerous to remain here.
Our chauffeur, he comes with this warning. My mother and my sisters, they refuse to leave, so I cut my gold bracelet into pieces. I trade gold for rice that I leave with them. Then I trade the garments that we are wearing for peasants' garb. Late that night, we crawl away from the compound. We crawl so as not to alert the soldiers. We crawl and I pray. I pray to the saints, to the Blessed Virgin, to Shiva, to Buddha, to my ancestors, the spirits of everything. Please, please, give me more gods, more goddesses to pray to. To survive, to keep my family safe, I learned the lesson of 3 monkeys. I ask nothing. I answer no one. I do as I am told. I rub my soft, uncalloused hands with sticks and earth to make them rough. I always wear the scarf to hide my face.
September 12th, 1975.
We have arrived in the distant village in the disguise of farmers. The Khmer Rouge control the village as they do all the others. They interrogate the men, but they ask me and my young son nothing. I am just a woman. But I live with fear. We will be discovered. For 3 years, 9 months, 4 days, I live with this fear. For my husband, it is the same. He lives in the men's camp where each night soldiers come. They take 1, 2 men away. These men never return. Each night, my husband prays the soldiers do not stop at his hut. Each night, I take this little book. I write while the others are asleep.
Angkar does not want your children to be with you. Vive Angkar! Vive Angkar! Vive Angkar!
Mama, I don't want to go. I want to die instead. But if you die, Chico, I will die too. Shall we die together? Yes, Mama. What is this terrible thought? Oh, God, have mercy on me for this thought. That night, my son Chico and I, we fall asleep in our hut, asleep in each other's arms. Late that night, we wake and we walk to the river. We are standing at the river's edge. I do not want to rush. We will walk into the water, stepping further and further away from the edge until we lose our footing and we sink and drown. Soon, we will be free from this suffering. Soon, we will meet my mother and my father and my brothers and sisters, for surely now they have all been killed.
What are you doing?
2 soldiers on the river's bank. So quiet I did not hear them. We were too hot to sleep. They sit on the bank, watching us as they smoke their cigarettes. So So twisted is our fate that we are saved from drowning by our enemies. Saved for what? The children are leaving today. We, the mothers, are weeping. We are weeping tears that feed the rice we are growing. Our 16 small children, they follow a soldier who carries a long stick, and we watch them walking away. There's dust rising from their small feet, heads bobbing in the sun, birds above scolding. We watch until the children disappear. Where is my child going? Where is my husband? Where is God? Where is He? At night, I go to what the village women call the haunted tree. Tree roots are my pillow. A breeze, it touches a canopy of leaves. A sighing sound of music comforts me.
I have seen the children in the woods. They are so hungry that they are eating anything that they find. Some are dying from the bites of snakes.
Oh, Blessed Virgin, you must protect my son. If you let him live, I will do good work as much as I am able. I promise you. I promise you. It is 3 months later when I see my son Chico in the distance. He's walking on the dikes. He's carrying ears of corn on his head. Oh, thank you, Blessed Virgin. Thank you. Chico, you skinny, half-naked, dirty little boy. You should be in school. You should be in the 1st grade.
The educated are the enemy of Ankar. Ankar burns books. Ankar kills anyone who reads and writes. Vive Ankar! Vive Ankar!
Gunshots. People are running. Suddenly, bells. We run to the village meeting hall. 30 new soldiers, a new Khmer Rouge regime. They surround the meeting hall. Guns are drawn. On the ground are the soldiers who have been our jailers. The hands, feet are tied. Some are bleeding. The wife of one of the soldiers is on the ground. A newborn infant that I delivered. He's crying.
Stop that crying!
The soldier cuts the infant's throat. His mother screams.
Stop that crying!
The soldier cuts the mother's throat. Stop! 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 I must stop this story. Here. I must go to church and pray for that mother and her infant.
God is always opening His hand. Stones and thorns in this garden of mine. When I prayed for roses, I just wanted roses. Lord, give me roses.
The manuscript I have been given stops with the slaughter of a mother and an infant. I panic. What kind of twisted dream am I a part of? I can't write a play that ends in slaughter. I won't write the play. But the manuscript that I've been given, it's got no address on it. It's got no telephone number. So all I can do is wait. 1 week passes. Nothing. A second week. Still nothing. A third week. Fourth week. Then on Saturday, an envelope. It arrives by mail. I tear it open. A decision has been made. My husband, my son. We will risk running away. May 9th, 1979, 5 a.m. We arrive in Sisepon, departure point for people who cross the border into Thailand. We are 30 people. Last group the guides will take through the woods, the fields that are planted with explosives. We will stop for no one, the guides tell us. No one.